Stafford High School government class. Glad you're here. We normally don't read the minutes of this meeting because we've already sent them out and everybody's looked at them, so we will just approve them. If you're at a normal government function, you probably hear the minutes first, but we don't need to do that here. First on the agenda, I think we got Rob and Wanda.
Just I have the information. Yeah. Okay.
It's not what's coming from me.
It is coming from me, because I'm usually the one that's told about.
Turn that down.
Turn it back so the doors are warm. It's kind of chilly.
Shirley.
Okay, so this is our recording systems, our phones and radios and everything. Right, 6 months ago, we found out that Revenue did not extend the agreement with Voice Products in Wichita. So we're going to be making Revenue, they come from Houston. We probably don't want to pay that.
Entrance charges.
I'm sure there would be, yeah, there would be something. And this one is 4 years old, so it's basically time to update it. So it got with Voice Products, and in the middle of all this, the 911 Council sent out a grant that they will match 60%. So thankfully, from everything we found out, it's going to be about $32,000. But they'll pay over 19 for it, so we only have 12. Yeah. The 911 money comes in every month with the state. There's plenty of money there. When we did this, when the grant, I talked, we're going to pay the full amount and then send 911 council the bill, and they'll reimburse us for the other. We've done a couple of things just to with you. I don't know if I want my bill set it in your hands to be paid in a timely manner.
We're in a problem with buildings like that with their this.
So we're just gonna pay the bill and then I'll send it to them and they'll reimburse us. Especially where we got the money, then it's not a problem.
In what case our system totally goes out, but this is just what's there for things like this.
What did you call that recording system?
It's a
The
voice.
the one we have right now is RevCore. We're going back to it's called a NICE system, N-I-C-E.
And this is basically what records the 911 calls?
It records all the phone lines and all radio
All of
traffic
your traffic.
and dispatch.
How long does it keep calls?
I can
is
go
it
back
stored
on
forever?
on this system here that I've actually been able to play with, I can go back as long as we've had it. I can go back and search it. It's all internet-based. Our next system will be internet-based also. And for the most part, it's been very easy to work with. We had one instance a
Well,
couple
we had
weeks.
call previous calls, things like that. You can go
Yeah.
through. I didn't know we'd go down and go back.
We've done it. Just out of curiosity, we have done it.
So all communications coming in the law enforcement center is recorded.
And dispatch is recorded now. The officers' offices and my office are not. But everything in dispatch is.
Some of the phone calls, when we take this stuff and go to our into dispatch and take our calls, so it's all recorded. But like we say, our offices are not recorded. They just wanted to make you aware of it, but that's what we
That's the totals there, of what should come in. When we originally did this, we only had 8 lines. And when Pat called to double check everything, here's our contact sales rep, the Voice Products, he's like, is that enough lines? So we got to look, and Regine, I think she had 16 lines put in with this RevCore. We only need 11, so we had to add a couple lines. It's a couple hundred, less than $500 for the 2 extra lines.
2 or 3.
But yeah.
But we don't need to vote on this one, because I mean,
we're supposed to do.
It's,
Yeah, it's good for 911 money.
it's 911 money, it's not budgeted money or anything like that, but basically we're just making you aware of what's going
So
on.
you're gonna pay the full amount
Mhm.
and
Send the
submit
bill
and
to
then
the-
get the grant back from 911?
Yeah, I'll send a bill to the
911.
911 and they will,
So you're gonna be out $12,000.
just
Actually,
over 12 to 13 is what it says
It's
here.
pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap for a recorder to have all that, so.
So you're gonna
yeah.
pay the full 32,000 up front.
Yeah, we'll pay the full upfront and then they'll reimburse us for that.
So do you want a motion?
Any motion or consensus or?
Let's do it.
Motion.
I'll make a motion that we allow the sheriff's department to pay
That's
$32,386 for the
voice products.
voice products for a nice recording system.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to spend $32,386 to voice products for a recording system. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then if you says that it's coming out of the 911 account instead of out of the budget account.
Yeah, Nita's gonna say, okay. Nita, get the minutes right.
Just write it, no, I won't.
Right.
Can you give me a copy of that, the page that says how much?
I just have, but yeah,
Just something, so
Yeah.
the auditors can look at it.
yeah,
Because
I'll
they'll-
give a copy of that. So,
And that's all we had. for this
you
one.
and Pat said,
Have you ever looked more into cameras for officers?
We have,
You have them all?
yeah,
Everyone's got it?
every one of them
Okay.
has car and body cameras.
All right.
that's the one that we discussed.
Yeah, that's not what he's talking about.
Right,
But no, that's, we've had, well, ever since we first discussed that like that, we have paid $37,000 on it.
They work good?
Yeah, they work really good. We have our
We're
recording
looking
system
at adding
back
some
in.
more cameras in dispatch
And
and
we talked about. that.
outside of the building.
A few more cameras in, just to record what goes on in there.
Yeah, but we haven't,
We just hadn't.
I was
Randy
gonna
just
say
said
mostly it's on the
much
door
about it.
because
yeah.
some of those.
But as far as car cameras and body cameras, yes, they're all that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Next, we have Marshall agenda.
Did you let Lisa fill out her
I guess first thing I have, this is for the city property on First Street. We'd like to tear it down this week.
Oh, for landfill waiver?
302 East First.
It's on the corner. We need a motion on this, don't we? I make a motion that we approve the waiver for the land bank to tear down the house on 302 East First in St. John.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to allow the property at 302 East First to be torn down and waive the landfill fees. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried.
I think you need to sign.
Do you need to sign
I need to sign it?
Is that usually about 4 lanes? You know?
Well, it's a two-story house,
Oh.
it's gonna be more than that probably. I think it's gonna be probably closer to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forestry Service sent me an email yesterday. They drove that tender and they found more problems. They believe it's either bad injectors or an injector pump. So the price on that tender could go up
More than $300?
more than the $300. I just told them, go ahead and see what it was and let me know. They're thinking somewhere total bill will be between 1,000 and 2,000, which
Still not that bad.
still not that bad for a tender. So kind of a wait and game on that. We did have a chiefs meeting Monday night. We are going to do an in-house fire one class for the whole county. It won't be certified through KU. It will be basically Stafford County's fire one stuff that we want our guys to know. Pat's going to do that. We got a bunch of training dates set up, different training ideas for all department personnel. And I've had some other people reach out from the Radium area that I'm going to meet with in the next couple of weeks for more firefighters up there. So we've got all that. Maxville's building that truck. In fact, they're just waiting on a couple things left to come in to finish it up. I did speak with Nita, what was that, a week and a half ago? Or last week. I went ahead, we bought a new tank for that truck. It was $1,659.15. But they were in a position to get it mounted and start plumbing, so I just so you guys are aware, I did spend over $9,000, but I felt it was necessary not to hold them up on getting it built. So, and we've got it in the budget to pay for it. Outside of that, the only other thing, I would like a quick 5-minute executive session to discuss personnel.
I'll make a motion that we take a 5-minute executive session to discuss non-elected personnel.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go in 5 minutes for non-elected personnel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Would it be easier for us to have a
Session.
I would like to appoint Harold Fisher as the Seward Radium Fire Chief and Cale Batman as the Assistant Fire Chief for Seward Radium.
You got that?
No. I'll make a motion that we appoint Harold Fisher as fire chief and Cale Batman as the assistant fire chief in Seward.
Second.
Is it Radium Seward?
Radium and Seward.
Radium and Seward.
We have a motion to appoint Harold Fisher as the chief and Cale Batman as the assistant in the Seward Radium Fire District. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And I think that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, guys.
Next one on the agenda isn't here yet. Are you on that, Shelley?
I am on it, but,
You want to wait for Jeanette, right?
yeah, I can see some of the others.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the January 29th meeting.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the January 29th meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Right away, Philip brought in from H&B Petroleum. They're laying a saltwater disposal line, which usually we don't allow, but he said there's a lot of trees that they're trying to go around, so he's asking that you guys approve that one. It's clear up north in Byron Township.
It's about, what, a mile from Barton?
I make a motion that we approve the road crossing permit 2020-01.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the road crossing permit number 2020-01. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Anything else?
We got some tax roll corrections, so it could be real quick.
Okay.
I make a motion that we accept the tax roll corrections.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the tax roll corrections. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Okay, and we need a motion for you guys. The old patching truck, Philip sold to Wilson County.
Wilson?
And since we didn't advertise it, since it was such a specialty item, he didn't feel like if we advertised it on Purple Wave that we would get like anywhere near what it was worth. So it's kind of a closed sale, but it's okay if you guys approve it since it's going to another entity. He got $37,500 for it, so he felt like that was really good.
I'll make a motion, we sell the patching truck to Wilson County for $37,500.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve selling the patching truck to Wilson County for $37,500. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
So, there we go.
They're here. John, are you ready? Teresa? We're ready, if you're ready.
Copy that. You guys
Okay.
have this too. Sure. And pass.
Morning.
Renee?
Weather's a little better than it was last time. Not a lot, but
She thought we would. We have new brochures too.
okay.
Did you get that copy that we
Yeah,
sent?
yes.
Successes. We are back to seek the possibility of the commission supporting. It's been a real, just a wonderful opportunity for the communities of Stafford County to work together, at this. We are, we run off of donations, and it's a program that's changing lives. Thought you'd be interested in this. Income has increased in Stafford by $5,451. Income has increased in St. John, $5,985. This program has helped people, some get full-time jobs, some part-time jobs that were not working. So because of that, they're able to pay their bills, pay off debt. We have debt reduction in St. John from participants, 13,753. We don't have current data on Stafford yet. We will there was a changeover from, who was the coach. Now it's, Shelley and Jeanette. And so we'll have that on that, probably what, the graduation in March. So, but, so this program is, helping give back to our communities.
And just with the, the new participants that we have in our class right now, we have one that is in college on top of the two that had already previously been in our program, or still there, are in college. We have two that have purchased a home, two families that have purchased a home. We have one that has graduated from the Learning Center with their high school diploma, and another one that will be very shortly. So I think there's just been a lot of positive changes.
How many are in the program now? How many total people are you working with?
Current, counting in a new class. We both have started new classes.
We have 10 in the new class, and then 9 or 10.
We have 9.
Had a new class from just a couple weeks ago when we cooked you guys' meals. I mean, I think it was 50 in Stafford and 25 in St.
That's
John.
with everybody.
That's with their
Old
kids.
class, the
Oh,
new
yeah,
class.
the new
Okay.
class.
We got
And their
30 kids
kids.
when they're all there, and then we got about 7 staff most of the time.
Okay.
Well, that'd be a pretty good indicator of how many you're working with.
Yeah, and we have quite a few that still pop in from over classes, and in Greensburg, they've done it for 5 years. There's only have 8 that stay in the program at this point. They've graduated, so that's not unusual for anything more.
Which is the ultimate goal.
That's what's happened in St. John is majority, a lot of them have moved away. A few, 2 or 3 decided to not continue, but those that have moved on, we've got success stories.
It's changing the way they think, which changes with
I've heard nothing but good things. Can you give us an idea of donation wise? How are you doing from private donations?
We've dropped a little bit from like 18. We're probably lacking about 14%. So we're just working harder, and the original people who started it here have started so many other communities that it's now our job to do what they did, that
Oh, yeah?
started it, yeah.
Oh, this is growing. I bet there's more poor
There's
community.
about 7 that are active or in some phase of starting, and there's more talking to them all the time.
All the time.
They have totally revamped their organization, trying to streamline everything.
You might explain why it's called Core now rather than Circles, and then is Circles still in existence in other areas, or?
Circles USA is a secular business, actually, and they charge you a lot of money to use their name, their program. They started with their program, have redone it through their own work in it, and then Rebecca Lewis Handcrafts, you might have seen her somewhere along the line, but she came through the Circles program in McPherson, and now she works for ESDAC, leading their poverty program that they're teaching to the schools, being trauma informed, working with kids who come from these situations and how to work with them. She went through it, and she speaks from somebody with experience, and she knows better how to talk to people that are there so that we don't offend them, because obviously people in middle class tend to be looked on the wrong way by those people because we're generally the enemy or they're jealous of us or something like that. And so they've rewritten their program, and they were paying $1,800 a site plus $5,000 for the mother site to use the name. And so rather than another $1,800 out of Stafford County to pay for using Circles, they changed the name, they dropped the contract. So, and it really had become just the name, which is a good name. but-
Because we use our own curriculum. We don't use their curriculum.
So are there other communities now that are core
Yes.
driven?
Yeah,
Right.
Barton County, Kingman,
Mary Greensburg.
Pawnee County.
Larned, they're springing up all over.
There's, Augusta just came in under us.
There's
There's several more coming. And it takes a year or two to really build the program before you can launch it, because you have to have the community, which they did for almost 2 years here, working with the different communities.
Didn't Greensburg kind of get it all started? And they've brought the Circle's name too.
Right.
Yeah, they were originally Youth for Christ, and because they wanted to focus on more than just youth, they had to drop out of their program and start their own too. Because they started realizing that a lot of the roots of youth issues are family issues. And by teaching the adults how to raise their kids better, they keep the kids a little bit better situations. And you can see it in the families.
And not just that they're not bad parents, they just don't know. So teaching them resources, teaching them how to go beyond the tyranny of the moment, to be able to think out past that. For families, that's very important. And learning how to plan, not just your budget, but also having the 11 resources, which is social, emotional, health, spiritual, things like that. It goes beyond just financial. And so that's a big part of what we teach. And also to know how to be able to come, if they needed to talk to you guys, and how to be able to come talk to you, as well as talk to their friends and family. Because it's literally like a different language.
They're taught soft skills for looking for a job, because some of them, their language is totally on a different level. And just realizing that that exists is eye-opening for them.
Another big thing that we discuss and teach, and I mean, I learned this too, I had no idea. We have different language in different classes. And there's also hidden rules, hidden cues from lower class, middle class, and upper class. In order to break out of a class, you have to learn the language. You have to learn these hidden, cues, behaviors, and so that's something else. So it's truly a learning, I don't know if you call it a training program, but the big thing is relationship. A lot of these people, when we have them fill out the data form right when we get started, question is asked, in the event of an emergency, how many people could you call to come to your aid? Sometimes it's very sad, sometimes it's 0 or 1. This program provides people in their corner, and so they know that they've got people. And one of the things we do have a benevolence, because when bombs go off, we all have things, a hot water heater breaks, the refrigerator breaks. They don't have the funds. And you and I wouldn't want to live without a hot water heater or refrigerator, and so we are able to, find resources. A lot of times, if they're able, we have them pay back, maybe not the whole part, but part of it. That allows them to get, ownership, and so.
Do you know what the federal poverty level is as far as income? What do they call that?
You know what, we have to, just look at
If
that.
you don't know it, that's fine, I was
No.
just curious.
It's easy to find.
Yeah, the considered out of poverty is 200% above the federal poverty guidelines. 200% is considered the front door of middle class. Just looked at that on Monday. I looked for a family, because it depends, how many people are in your family. That's what, affects it. I think I was looking at a family of 3, what was it? About 31,000, I think, somewhere in there for a family of 3 to get out.
Which is the lowest.
Yeah, right,
That would be around.
right.
If you look at the Board of Education statistics on poverty in the community, it's only like 60% get free and reduced, but Stafford and St. John are closer to 70%. Maxville just happens to be a little bit different. For some reason, it causes the average to be different. But that's a significant number when that's your population.
Right, I just called all the schools to get that, and St. John has 72% on free and reduced. Stafford is 60, I think it was 60%, and Maxville was 50. So the average is right about 60%. Stafford County free and reduced.
It's been high for quite a while.
Quite a while.
Mhm.
I
I
know.
qualified when I was on the school board.
Yeah,
I didn't take it.
yeah, yeah.
Before you guys have a meal before every meeting, I know a lot of local groups provide the meals for you guys. What kind of percentage you guys reckon you get 50% donated, or?
For
you basically
Stafford,
get-
it's about 99% because we have 13 different individuals or groups that do it, churches, organizations, PTO, individuals. Occasionally, there's a gap, somebody drops out or somebody can't do it and we'll fill it in, but it's rare. And we get donated items all the time. Like, I have a gap next week, but we had chips left over from a Christmas party that was donated. And we have cookies that have been left over from several different things where there's just been so much. So just throwing some hot dogs in there and we're good.
Some chicken.
And we got a lot of chicken around too.
And one time when we didn't have somebody, our class actually cooked the meal.
We bought the supplies and stuff.
Okay.
It's good.
I think it's about the same with St. John class.
Yeah, we have 4 businesses that, rather than coming out and preparing the meal, they give us money. And so then Felicia and I will purchase and we will make the meal. But yeah, we have lots of churches, organizations, again, community. I would say just in the last year has really come on board. I don't know, I think we're constantly getting, hey, I'm getting a new refrigerator, do you have somebody that needs one? I've got a stove, I've got this and this, which has been
We've got,
wonderful.
like, just in Stafford, a fridge, a freezer, 3 washing machines, a couple dryers, furniture, beds, all donated. And we had a needs list that was a mile long, and somebody donated enough to cover both sites' needs. But then we still were able to get a lot of it donated for free.
That's great. I think what we have to think about, I mean, I think it's a great program. It's just, should it be a donation thing, or should we require government, you know, taxpayers that are, everybody would be donating? Is that the part of their job to support this?
Well, a lot of communities bigger than us have poverty or initiatives in their communities where they're funding programs to deal with it. Obviously, we don't have that anywhere in our community yet. But, I mean, if you want to call it a poverty initiative, you know, that's what we're working on. We're providing part-time jobs because you want to do it full-time every week, and it's not always easy. It's kind of dirty and ugly some days. And the majority of the cost is staff and materials, supplies.
Training.
Training.
That is nice. We quarterly, all of the 4 community groups get together, and, you know, so we have kind of constant training, we get together, brainstorm, so.
And one of our first graduates, you know Jessica, she went with us to training and she substituted for our facilitators, so, you know, they're coming back to serve back.
What is the budget for Stafford County?
I think it's like 54,000.
So that's both, yeah, Stafford and.
Some of the salaries
Maxville
are
is
partially donated.
Maxville is, and the first group did have somebody from Maxville I've got somebody, you know, they've got a bigger church. I mean, thank goodness, you know, we're so thankful that the Methodist Church has opened up, that's where we meet. But the space is more limited, and so there was a couple of families that got on the waiting list. One is from Maxville. So yes, Maxville is a part of this also.
And we've had a couple from Sylvia, we haven't really tapped in, we've sent some materials to the churches there, but not really.
And like she said, you know, when we first got started, people from Greensburg came and did the fundraising, but no, there's no way. I mean, we've got too many sites going, so it's up to us. I know Kingman came on board about a year ago, and their liaison that went out to find funds. That community supported. In no time she came up, what was it, 70, 80,000?
86,000.
86,000, and I know their commissioners gave 15,000, but they're, what, 3 times as big as us? 3 or 4 times as big? Yeah.
Do you have a list of other counties that gave, or besides?
That's the only one we know
We
about.
know of,
Okay.
but.
And I think Pawnee County also gave,
Mhm.
maybe Barton.
Barton has a lot of support from programs, otherwise the health department's involved.
Any other questions? This would have to be considered in next year's budget, right? Or not?
Well, I would say that the work we're doing is at least comparable in value to the 4-H program. You're teaching kids who come from generally middle class, so their parents have to do the work. I've been there. The poor kids don't get in it unless somebody's walking them through it, because it's a lot of work, and if the parents aren't involved, it doesn't happen. And we're teaching the adults to be leaders and to fix their own problems.
It has a ripple effect. I mean, if we can help mom and dad, the chaos in the home goes down that direction.
We've got one
Affects
family
kids.
looking to try and start Girl Scouts in Stafford, but they have to find a non-relative partner to do it because of previous behavior of the other people. So.
Well, we'll consider talking about it some more. And
Okay. Will you notify us what you decide? Thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
we won't take forever.
Do you have a specific dollar amount you're looking at from them?
Well, based on Keenan's percentage, about $3,000, but if you want to do less than that, we'd be happy with it.
Be happy with whatever. That's fine. Okay. And if you have further questions that come up, feel free to contact anyone.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank
you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time, guys.
I think at this point, we're going to have to scoot out.
Okay.
Are we that boring?
Are there any questions?
I'd like to take all morning, and I'm sure they would. We better get back.
Some of you.
We have a
wake
tour
up.
at the courthouse too, so we're
All
going
right.
to go over there and do that.
Do you guys have any questions about?
Questions, guys? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for
having
taking
us.
care of it.
I'd like to take the chance to encourage you guys to get involved in your local politics, whether it's your city council or community. You know, if you want to have a say-so, you have to get involved,
Could we,
get educated.
if I had him stand behind you, could we get
Sure.
a picture? You guys can stand behind me, please.
It's like Nathan got his cast on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll recess here.
Connie, you need to.
If you don't have any questions, you want to ask any questions about it, we don't have to go into.
I mean, it's kind of a bad deal where
Just sign it without-
the landowners are getting shoved down their throat and they basically have no
You need to,
nothing recall.
reset
You just gotta take what they give
regular
you,
meetings. We can
or
do
assume.
local board of
Okay.
unfortunately.
And there's nothing we can do. What they're
I don't think
saying-
there's anything the county can do. I don't think it's your role.
As far as they're just wanting to say to try to slow it down because the pipeline is on a timeline, so if we can slow them down, then they'll be more interested in negotiating.
But I don't think it's the county's role to get involved in their negotiations. And, you know, the pipeline company's wanting to move forward, the landowners are wanting to slow it down. I don't think you have a role in that. That's just negotiation. That would be any civil, private issue. So I mean, am I unsympathetic? No. I'm just saying I don't think it's the county's role to step into their negotiations and to be a factor. I mean, they're not going to say they're playing you, but you don't have a dog in the hunt.
Except for our local citizens. I mean, we answered our local citizens, not Phillips 66.
But if every local citizen came in here and thought they were getting the wrong end of a dispute, do you get involved in that?
If it thought it was, I mean, I don't know.
I advise you don't,
Yeah.
unless it's county property or, you know. I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying, I just don't think this is our,
I'm not sure we'd have any weight if we did do anything.
no, I don't think you have a standing.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it was county property,
Right.
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if it's just a private landowner and a pipeline company, I don't think so.
You know, kind of looking at the same type of deal, you know, if our county was having trouble with something and we wanted to stand up and try to get it stopped, if we had a problem with the pipeline, and then the other counties, Edwards and other counties that it goes through, and we were trying to get it stopped, and we said, can you guys help us? And they're like, that's not our county. You know,
Well, and here's the other deal. If Scott, what do you, Scott County?
Scott County.
If Scott County's already involved and they're gonna get, if they're gonna slow the pipeline down, then
And that's
what
what-
are we doing?
That's what they said, is that they only need one county to do it. And they said Scott County is gonna do it. I think they've talked with Edwards. Edwards talked like they were gonna do it. I just thought if we did it, that it would look like we're supporting our local citizens instead of standing up taking the side of the 66. Because if we don't,
I don't think you're standing up taking us anybody's side. I think you're just saying this isn't our fight.
yeah. But I feel like by just saying this isn't our fight, I feel like you're not taking the side of our citizens.
Well, take the invert. Let's say you two are negotiating some sort of a pipeline across your property, and Mr. Fairchild says, as county commissioner, I don't like the way that's being handled, we need to slow this down, and he just unilaterally got involved in your negotiation. How would you feel?
Yeah.
You'd probably be saying, this isn't county business, this is between me and Mr. Grimmett. So but if you'll give me the Scott County or the attorney's name, I'll be happy to call them, and maybe they know something I don't know. I'll be happy to, if they want to enlighten me about something, but.
Jim Minix?
Yeah.
Well, Dennis Dutton will be here,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you can get.
I'll get you some stuff about it.
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna recess as Commissioner Board and reconvene as the Board of Health. Shannon?
Okay. So far this season, we've given 806 flu vaccines in the county. We provided flu clinics at each school in the county, at each nursing home, at the Stafford Senior Center. We came to the courthouse and we went to each branch of the St. John National Bank as well. And we've, of course, provided them in the office as walk-ins. They were shipped out later than usual this year because the World Health Organization changed a strain in the vaccine before they manufactured them. So everything was a little bit behind this year. Normally we do our flu clinics in October, and we did them all in November so that we would have vaccine for everybody. But I feel like even though the vaccine was received later than usual, we still did a good amount of flu shots. We did just under 900 last year, so even with the vaccine shipped out later, I feel like we did a good amount still. And we do still have some people walking in and getting flu vaccine, and we still have some available, so. I pulled some statistics for like our family planning for last year. We did 14 pregnancy tests, we did STD testing and treatment for 9 clients, and we served 70 people for family planning in 2019, and that's an unduplicated number. So that's like just the clients that we have that come in for family planning, not the amount of times that they came in. So that number is much higher with how many walked in for services that's duplicated. For maternal and child health grant, we saw 100 children, and that's an unduplicated number also. And then I have it broken down by ages. So under age 1, we saw 6 children. Children age 1 to 11, we saw 85. And adolescents 12 to 22, we saw 8. And in that number, we provided 67 well visits, and that would have been for the school physicals before the new students went to school. And then we provided 1,077 people with vaccines in 2019 also. So, and then attached to it, I printed out some documents from our immunization registry. So that's where I got the total for patients for immunizations. And then the second page just has breakdown of age group and what insurance people have that came in for vaccines also.
How many, I see you got the word Medicaid and Medicare. How many Medicaid patients do you have compared to Medicare?
We've got a lot more Medicaid than Medicare because the Medicaid is usually the children. So that's the VFC program that we provide the vaccines to.
Like you've had 195.
And Medicare, the majority of those end up being like our flu and pneumonia vaccines. Some come in for like the shingles vaccine or a tetanus, but usually we don't see too many Medicare until flu season.
Where did
And
you come up with that number for Medicaid?
It's on that
Oh,
page.
okay.
So of the first line, it says total 195 on the Medicaid, and CHIP kind of falls in with the Medicaid. It's still a Medicaid service, but they have to pay a deductible usually with that. So. Have any questions?
Do you have any instructions on coronavirus?
Not really yet. I keep getting emails from the state, and I know they've talked about doing calls and webinars whenever things get a little bit more serious. But a lot of the instructions they're giving on how to prevent it are identical to flu.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, cover your mouth, preferably not with your hand, but if you do, go wash your hands. They're recommending sneezing or coughing into a tissue and immediately throwing it away. Staying home if you feel sick. So it's basically the exact same instructions that they're giving for influenza.
I haven't heard much in the last 2 or 3 days. Is it kind of?
So the one that was being investigated that was in Douglas County came back as not a case. So there currently is none in Kansas. What I looked up yesterday is there are 11 confirmed cases in the United States though, but they're all in coasts or major cities where they've got a large airport hub. So like Chicago, California, up by New York, Great Lakes. So nothing right immediately near us, but people travel. So
I know of a guy coming back from China. Going to Wichita. Do you know that one?
yes, because yeah, he came in for his vaccines, for a couple of them, and we told him that he had to go to his doctor to get the other ones, but
Okay.
yeah, whenever all of this started, that was the first thing we thought of,
Yeah.
because it's very widespread in China on the mainland.
Yeah, he wasn't terribly far away from Wuhan or whatever
Yeah.
that place is.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that those people can just kind of go incognito and just, nobody knows about it, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it was like the measles, the kids that came into, where was it, Denver? You know, and how many thousands could have been exposed? but then
exactly,
you-
it's kind of a nightmare to try and track
Yeah.
that down. Because, yeah, I mean, and with it even being in Kansas City and people going and shopping and having to track down who was at the same place as the kids that had it there too. It's just, yeah,
That would be a nightmare, would it?
yes. So hopefully it gets contained and we don't have to get super concerned. But as of right now, I haven't been given a whole lot of instruction from KDHE because they're kind of gauging situations before they say
They probably
anything.
don't know a lot either.
Yeah. So I'll just keep looking for my emails because they keep sending out reports. So I keep making sure to read them to make sure there's nothing that we need to be doing.
Yeah, that's kind of the scariest of all deals, something you've never heard of before.
Something new that they've got to figure out.
Any other questions?
Everything going good? I mean, all the
Yes.
flooring, trim. you got all
Everybody
that
comes
done?
in and says it looks nice, and it's holding up, yes, thank goodness. But yes, everything's holding up good, and everybody that walks in says it looks nice,
Well, I
so
think it's a lot easier to sanitize and.
it is.
It does, and it's,
Yeah,
it
it
smells
is,
better.
yeah, it looks nicer,
It's-
so, yeah.
And the boring company that just said basically get it done and they would pay for it, they came through and paid for it?
Yes. Yep, so that's
Good.
all taken care of. We paid our portion for the flooring and then they paid theirs. And then they paid for the cleanup also, so.
Good.
And the vehicle's working out good?
I just went to a meeting in Lyons yesterday for emergency preparedness and took the vehicle, so, yeah.
I mean, they didn't cancel it because of the weather.
They didn't. It was snowing by the time I left. So, yeah. Everything is going good though, so.
Now, do we have to do this quarterly? So.
Yeah, I would have done this in January, but didn't have an option to be out of the office. to
Well,
do
and I don't
it.
think you'd have had all your data by then, would you?
No. So that was
That
part
works
of
out.
scheduling it today because I could be out, because we have a dietitian there for WIC this morning. So, and then that way I had all of
Yeah.
my 2019.
So we have the next one in May. Okay,
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
so you'll have to.
Did we want to go over the evaluation?
Do you have any questions about, no, you already looked at her employee evaluation, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and she looked at hers and was fine, so
Mhm.
Okay.
we're good.
Good.
Then you can go what we were.
So you need to adjourn.
Okay.
Got that?
Sure.
We'll adjourn as the Board of Health and reconvene as the County Commission. Thank you. Dennis next. Dennis, we're ready.
You ready?
If you are.
Is that the hot seat?
Yeah, either one.
Well, I don't know, which one do I need to face? Okay. Except for the
updated, but similar, but updated.
One for the county attorney. if you
Yeah,
want.
I think he's gonna come back.
Is it gonna be gone for a while?
He said
Did
he
Mike
had
tell
a-
you? He said if you wanted him to come back, call him.
You had a 10 o'clock.
Do we need to wait
It would be nice.
My schedule's fine, so
You wanna
if we
wait?
need to wait, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, let's try to
Okay,
wait for him.
okay, not a problem. I will-
Call it
Recess.
recess.
Yeah, we'll recess. Well, I'll do it for you.
I know you take a lot of room. You have a, when's your meeting?
I just talked to a victim and I got the school kind of on the truancy issue and so, yeah.
We're good to go?
We're good to go.
Got a little time.
Yeah.
Hate to actually do that again, Dennis, but
Well, that's fine. I mean, obviously, you know, I was able to meet with Todd a little bit, give him a heads up. I would have done the same with you too, but time restraints didn't allow me to do that. So, but this did allow us to give a little precursor to what we're coming into. But I'll back up, I'll give you a little more, and I appreciate Leah being here. We are here as landowners. Now, I don't own land in Stafford County per se. I have a landlord that does, that is part of it. Lee, she obviously does, but we are here representing landowners and also a group of landowners that have formed a LLC called Pro Kansas. And there's also a similar group in Colorado, Pro Colorado, and a similar one in Wyoming. And we are all working together as a group to do collective bargaining with Phillips 66 on the Liberty Mainstream pipeline. We have, I can't give you the number of people, of landowners in Kansas, but as of Saturday evening, we had something a little over 70 miles of the project signed up in our group of a 280 somewhat mile project. So we've got a good 25% of that in Kansas. Of the landowners, there are 8 board members for Pro Kansas to work together. Leah volunteered to be a part of that. I didn't volunteer, but I got coerced into it. We represent area here locally. There's a lady that represents part of Kingman County, and then the other 4 or 5 are in the Scott, Wayne, and Logan County area. They are the ones that started this off of what was going on in Colorado. But we are board members, and then I am one of 4 that are on the negotiating committee trying to work with them. So I'm here not only representing landowners, in county, but also the state of Kansas as part of Pro Kansas, as now responsible as board members and negotiating committee. In your packet, there's several things, and I apologize for inundating you with paperwork, but I want to make sure you have all information that you feel like you could have. But the first 2 pages are, one of the pages, and you'll see at the top, is the proposed easement that has been offered to Wyoming. The second page is the proposed easement for Colorado and Kansas, and then to the side, you will see the notes that have been made pointing out the differences between the 2. The negotiating committee has been in negotiation with Phillips 66 or their representatives. It's in the contact information. The one is an outside attorney, well, actually it's 3 people. One is an outside attorney for Colorado and Wyoming, and his name is Jason Brinkley. And then they've been negotiating with Chad Pollock, who is the right-of-way lead for the project. The lead right-of-way agent to purchase right-of-ways. He's got lots of people under him. And then there's David Bankston, who is an attorney out of Wichita, that is representing him for Kansas. But those are the 3 that we've been in direct contact with, and the 2 previously felt like went pretty well. The third one is trying to, they've pretty much agreed to most everything we've asked for or negotiated on, with the exception of the liability issue. And at the last meeting, we felt like we was going back to, now it's going to be 2 weeks ago tomorrow is when we were supposed to meet with them. Hoping that they would accept or either the language or some form of the language we were asking for that would be acceptable to us. We found out the morning previous to the meeting when we was going to leave on Wednesday, 2 weeks ago today, we were made aware that they would not commit that they were willing to negotiate on that. They don't want to say, I think you're going to like what we do. That's as far as they would commit to our legal counsel. And so we determined, since they're dancing around the issue, they probably aren't going to give what we're asking for, and unless they're willing to negotiate good faith, why do we want to travel a number of hours to go to Cheyenne, Wyoming to meet with them? So our legal counsel did meet with them on Wednesday evening, 2 weeks ago, and basically got their proposal, which is you have in front of you. They did agree to what we was asking for Wyoming, but they would not agree to it for Colorado and Kansas. To maybe jump in and answer a question, maybe thinking why, our best guess is multiple things. One is Wyoming has been doing this for a while, a number of years. They've been involved in other projects, and they know what's going on, landowners, and they had formed this group long before we did down here. They are the model of what we in Colorado are doing. But they had a county, just like we're coming to you, that basically said you will need to do these things or we are not going to, we want to put a moratorium on your project. That's one thing that we think had a factor. A second thing is the governor of Wyoming, who is friendly to landowners, also applied whatever pressure he could. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he was supportive. And then the third thing is, and I don't remember the number of them or the miles, but all but 2 landowners in Wyoming are a part of the group. So there's pretty heavy clout in that respect. So we feel like the combination of all those things, and there may be others, but a combination of those things is probably a good reason why they decided to go ahead and give in with Wyoming, as well as we are working as a group, Wyoming, Colorado, and Kansas. And we also feel like, and there are 4 members from each state group that is part of the negotiating team. And we've had numerous conference calls, I don't know, 8, 9 hours I've probably spent in the last 2 weeks on conference. We have another one this evening. I cannot be a part of it because of other conflicts, but Wyoming has, we think the company also thinks by doing it with Wyoming, they can divide and conquer. Like, okay, well, Wyoming's going to get what they want basically because they feel like they have no choice because of political pressure. But by doing that, we feel like the thinking of the company could be that, well, okay, but Wyoming's going to get what they want, so they'll no longer support Kansas and Colorado, so then we'll go after Kansas and Colorado on their own. And Wyoming has been very adamant that that's not going to how it works. We win this as a group, and we're going to finish it as a group. We all going to get what we need, or they're not going to agree to it. That is what we're working at for us right now. So those are the reasons why they made the gate to it. What we're asking for is not unheard of. Again, this project is bringing oil from the Balkans up in the Montana, Dakotas, wherever all that is, and I guess they're continuing to poke holes up there and produce oil. They're in partnership of such with another company that I know is known as Bridger, and they are bringing oil from the Balkans down to a point, which in turn then will go into where in the Phillips project, which is Liberty Mainstream. They'll go from Wyoming to Colorado, Kansas, into Oklahoma and deliver the oil. Bridger, they started negotiations or offered to start the negotiation with Phillips before they did with Bridger, the group. And so Bridger come in later, not a lot, we're only talking maybe a week or 2, to come in later. In very short order, Bridger agreed to the terms and everything we was asked for, which is no different from what we're asking for here. And they have already started their project. They are building pipeline as we speak, which puts additional pressure on Phillips because they're investors and so forth, that they are on a timeline. They need to keep it moving here. And
We've already gotten a letter saying that they would practice eminent domain if we don't sign.
Yes. And they're threatening, as of February 7th, if we can't come to terms, that starting February 7th, they're gonna start. And they have, now, I'm not aware of it in Kansas from anyone, but in Colorado, we've got word that land right-of-way agents have been contacting people threatening that we are doing this, and you need to reconsider being associated with Pro Colorado, because that group is falling apart. They're disintegrating, they're falling apart, and so it'd be in your best interest to forget about that and sign an agreement with us. So they're putting on pressure package, and they are misconstruing or misrepresenting facts. The fact, main one being that we're falling apart, and we're not. We're not. At least not yet, and we don't anticipate that we will. So, but beyond, we've got limited ability, and that's why we're here. Our legal counsel has advised us that counties have, and I think it's explained in that one, like I said, the first 2 pages are the difference between Wyoming and Colorado. The next 4 or 5 pages is more details of it, with the next to the last page being an overall overview, conclusion, kind of bring it all together. The last page is a list of the negotiating team members of the 3 states. Plus, the bottom 2 are the 2 attorneys in the law firm out of Cheyenne that are representing / advising us as a group as to where we go and how we proceed. And then the final 2 pages, I believe, is 1 page is well, it's 3 pages, I think. 1 page is Logan County. They agreed on Monday in their meeting to support, and they sent a letter, which you have a copy of, to them yesterday morning. The group out in western Kansas, the 3 of them met with Scott County last evening, and I got word this morning Scott County had agreed to communicate with the company, or contacts. I have met with Edwards County Monday morning, and they've agreed to communicate their support and desire that something be worked out, or they may have to consider a moratorium while considering further regulations, or whatever regulations would be appropriate. I'm here meeting with you guys today. They are looking into, they have been in contact with Lane County and I believe Wallace County. I don't hold my feet to it, but I know they've been in contact with Lane County commissioners looking to do the same thing. We've already been in communication with Kingman County, people in Kingman County who are looking to set up and being with Kingman County commissioners, and we want to do the same thing to Pratt County commissioners. So I want to emphasize, we either have other counties on board or are asking other counties to be on board. We're not asking you to do this by yourselves as the only county on the route. But we feel strongly about the concerns we have for the liability issue. I guess maybe I need, our concerns, and you can read that, but they're off in Wyoming. We are asked or required, I don't think required, but they're asking that we purchase $1 million liability policy, which most farmers have something like that anyway. Absentee landowners may not, so that could be an issue, but anyway, that's what we are. We're willing to agree to that, and that therefore, if there would be some unforeseen accident that we as landowners or someone under our responsibility would damage the pipeline and therefore would be open for liability, we'd be limited to the $1 million policy, or in the case of Kansas, Colorado, they had worded it such a way that if the insurance provider would determine that there was a negligent act or a malicious act or whatever that caused the damage, then they may decide not to honor the policy, which I suppose would be their right, which then would open up Kansas and Colorado landowners to an unlimited liability risk that could cost millions of dollars that would cause us to lose our farm. And it's not just for me or Leah as current owners, but future owners. For that pipeline is going to be there forever, or as long as they can make it work. And they are going to be, they've set up Phillips 66 is the current company, but they've set up a, and I don't know the legal term of it, but a side LLC, Liberty Mainstream, that would limit their risk, their liability risk for the company. We as landowners aren't in a position we can do that same thing. So, but they are generating revenue once that pipeline is up and running every hour or every day or every week or every year from here on, however long they want to use that pipeline. We are, and
You're
I'm
getting
not,
paid for that.
huh?
You're getting paid for that, though.
One time,
Well,
which is
Okay,
fine.
But that's not,
I know, and
That's
I'm
not
not,
this
I
board's-
understand that. I'm not here asking for help in the compensation. That's not what we're here for. That's,
Just
you
like.
can't help on
I
that.
don't want to interrupt, but what I keep hearing from you is this is a negotiation between individual landowners and Phillips 66. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That has nothing to do with the county government.
I understand that, but county government is elected by the landowners in this county to, if nothing else, I mean, among other things, but also to represent us in concerns and stuff that we are now have the capability of doing. All we are asking is would you be willing, and we're asking that you would provide some sort of communication to letter and or email and or phone calls or all the above to contact us, stating that the county has county commissioners and you have concerns on how the landowners are being treated, asking them to negotiate in good faith, especially concerning reclamation, but when they're all said and done, and I can show you a map of previous projects that wasn't carried out, not by this company, but it is because of previous, we've learned from previous experiences that we're dealing with this time. But the biggest issue is the mitigation of our liability risk to it. What we're asking is the county, with the power and jurisdiction you have to develop regulations concerning the pipeline, that you would say that you may have to consider doing that, and in the process of doing that, you may have to put on a moratorium on any pipeline projects until you have had the chance to study the issues and concerns and possibly develop regulations addressing those concerns.
So you're wanting to use local government to put pressure on Phillips 66?
Correct. That's basically about the only real pressure we have, because we have.
You just don't know that that's
We've been.
our role.
Well, but your role is to help represent and protect the landowners of your county, is that not correct?
Yes.
I would like to see whether it's in statute that we could even do that, a moratorium.
And again, I'm referring to our legal counsel who is advising us, but we have been told that the county commissioners have sitting authority based on state law to pass regulations concerning any project going on in their county.
I would think that'd just be related to the roads, though, Dennis. No, I think we could, I don't know if
Well,
I do it, but I'd say.
they are
The
going to
county
cross the roads.
the county cannot put a moratorium. I mean, if you're doing something lawfully on your private property, the county commissions can't come in and say, you can't do that, or we'll put,
There might be somebody for it.
I'm sorry?
There might be somebody for it. We can't come in and say, your individual contract.
you can't
isn't
plant
any
corn
good."
this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they are going to cross all township roads and county roads in the
That I
process.
could see the roads.
And so that is,
I could see the roads.
okay, well,
Not.
we're open to however way you can help us.
Whatever support we can get.
Yeah, whatever support we can get. I mean, I'm not here. I brought letters, proposed letters, one has been sent, another one is the county has agreed to send, two other counties agreed to send something like it or similar. But in no way am I here to tell you, this is what you have to do. We're just asking in any way, shape, or form, you can support us in this. If you need to go out a different route, we're fine with that, as long as we can hopefully count on your support to help us in this matter.
Can I explain something that's happened in my situation? I built this cabin here in 2012. There was one pipeline that went through up here before I built it, and in my contract it said only one pipeline, none others. Since then, they've come in under different names. We've had 3 pipelines come in up here, goes through the creek. This is the county blacktop here. It crosses it over here. And they tried to use a private driveway here, which I've stopped.
but I had to hire an attorney to get it stopped. And so now this new pipeline with Phillips 66 would have gone right through my cabin. And they could have. They wouldn't have allowed me much money on it. They never pay enough money. They're offering $25,000 to go across here, across the circle here, and elbows in both of the pipelines. I mean, they're offering me less money than these other guys did. And now I've heard there's 9 more coming through Sacramento. Now, somebody has to have some kind of say. And it's going to cross your county blacktop here. It's going all across the county. Goes through the tree line. They take out trees, which makes it ugly. I planted that, I built that cabin to retire at. And it doesn't look the same as it did when I built it 5 years ago or 6 years, whatever it is, 7. It's just unbelievable, the power that they've had. Unbelievable. So, I mean, what's to stop them from just coming through my property, which just devalues it?
You said there's proposed 9 more?
I've heard of 9 more coming
Really?
through. And they won't go under, they won't power under the driveway, they're gonna go through it, and they say they'll fix it. I've seen what their fixed jobs are, it's not great. They won't bore under the tree line, you can see where the trees have been taken out here. They won't bore under it, they take out more trees. It is very discouraging, honestly. But I would think that the township has some sort of power. I mean,
I think they would in the roads, yeah.
And it goes across a lot of your roads here.
Yeah.
In no way am we here asking help on compensation. That
Oh,
is,
no,
that
that's
obviously
not that's not your.
you know, but having said that, they were offering Wyoming more money than they did Colorado, and they're offering Colorado more money than they're offering Kansas. But that's a side note. And I in no way can I have a educated discussion with you on what you legally can do, because I don't know. All I'm going on is what we have been advised by our legal counsel, is that you do have the sitting authority to draft regulations concerning projects. Now, how you would decide to do that, if you just strictly limit to your roads, we don't care, as long as we can get some support from you in whatever way possible to, if you want to use the word, put pressure on them, because they're putting pressure on us. They're threatening, you know.
But they're not.
I wish I had known about this pro group before.
I think that's the
I think
big deal
Mike's
about it
main-
myself.
Okay.
Individually.
I think Mike's main deal is he's saying that the commissioners shouldn't go on either side. Is that basically right? Which I disagree with Mike. But if we decide to send a letter, is there, other than the fact that you feel we're wrong by stepping in on the citizen side?
No.
I mean,
My concern is, the other question I had is your negotiations. And I negotiate on a daily basis. That's my job. Not all negotiations end successfully.
I understand that.
And if you and Phillips 66, these pro groups or landowners or whoever, don't come to an agreement with Phillips 66, what's the end game?
What's the end game for us?
Yeah, if you
We have no end game.
If you do not reach resolution, then what happens?
They start condemnation efforts, and we then have no protection on it.
Then it becomes a legal matter.
Then it becomes a legal
And the
battle,
county
which
gets
they
involved
have
in legal
unlimited resources to fight it, and we don't. That is the authority they're holding over us. Basically, they're holding the big stick, saying, "Well, we're going to push you into this, whether you like it or not." We don't think that's fair, and we aren't asking anything that hasn't been done previously on other properties. We're not asking anything that they didn't grant to Wyoming. Why should we not have the same consideration in Kansas and Colorado, which Colorado doesn't concern you, or even the rest of the state of Kansas? But why shouldn't we have the same consideration in Stafford County as landowners anywhere else, as far as concerning our concerns on liability and reclamation? Why should we not have the same consideration and be treated the same? We're not second-class citizens in this state or in this county. If they can do it in there, they can do it other 2 places. Just that they feel like they're powerful enough that they don't have to, and they're going to force us in the corner that we basically have to give in to their demands. I hear what you're saying, but I hope you understand what we're saying. We don't have the power to negotiate. Yes, we've got numbers, but if we'd been able to organize this sooner like Wyoming did, maybe we would have more clout as a group. But now, this is our next best option, is to go, you know, yeah, in the future, before the next project comes to, we are gonna work on legislators in the state of Kansas. But at this point, there's nothing on this short notice, no. But again, we have been advised by legal counsel that the county commission has the power as sitting authority to draft or study the regulations and possibly anything you might do. I hear, and you probably have a very valid, I can't argue with what you say as far as private landowners, but township roads and county roads and so forth, I would think you can do something there and use that as a.
Who's your legal counsel that's giving you?
It is, and you, well, it's on, go back to, towards the back, yeah.
I have that, but
The bottom
this
two.
just says board.
The
Doesn't
bottom
say-
two, Frank Fallon and Connor, and they have indicated they'd be more than willing to visit with you whoever. I mean, if you want to call right now, I'm guessing they would probably try and open the schedule up to do it, or whenever. But they are more than willing to visit with you.
What kind of scares me on this, Dennis, though, is you said that needs to be done this week, and we really don't have time to talk to people and decide what we're gonna do.
Well,
Can we?
we're asking that, but obviously you're gonna do whatever you can do. I understand. I'm on boards. I understand how that works. I understand that.
I understand that.
And my concern is, I mean, I've read,
Have you read this one?
oh yeah, it's the mayor of the Logan County. Whoever wrote that just used the verbiage. But I'm concerned about
What if we
making,
took the last sentence out of the second paragraph?
what worries me is making threats
That if we took the last.
that we don't know that we can back up.
I think if we eliminated the last sentence of the second paragraph, I wouldn't have any problem with it.
That begins otherwise,
Otherwise, yeah.
take that
'Cause
sentence out.
that's where we're threatening them with something that I'm not sure we can do anyway.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Which,
The second paragraph, the last sentence.
Second or last sentence.
I mean, I'm very sympathetic and I
Well,
would do the same
I'm
thing.
gonna throw this back at you, and I know you don't, but if you were in our position, you had the pipeline, and each one gets bigger. The first two that come through is 12 inches, the second one is 20 inch. This is gonna be a 24 inch. It's gonna be very close to her house, even closer to her house than it is to my house, and I can show you a map, it ain't very far from my house, maybe a couple hundred
This
yards.
one comes within
We're-
8 feet of my garage.
I'd be right with
We're
you.
talking about a industrial 24 inch carrying oil that it's concerning. Now, I respect what your attorney, Mike, I'm sorry that you said, I respect what Mike's saying, and in no way can I argue that fact, because I don't know, you're over my head, but that's why we do have two attorneys that would be more than willing to visit with you on your concerns.
Here's my thoughts. Let me call these attorneys.
That's fine.
I've got some folks at the courthouse waiting for me now, but let me call the attorneys. I'm gonna find a middle ground between you two, I think. I'm not saying totally get rid of that last sentence, but I would reword that last sentence, because
Well,
that last
I'm not
sentence is a bit of an ultimatum.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that.
I don't like it, but if we can rephrase that,
Before
would people
you
be comfortable with that?
Before you came in the room, I think I indicated, I didn't bring those letters to say this is what you have to write. I'm showing it as what has, Logan County has sent that.
You're not reinventing the wheel.
Yes, but we are only showing it as what we are asking for, but however you want to word it, that is your discretion.
If you would allow me to
I think we need a little time to do that.
Well, and please,
I might even just redo the whole letter, to be honest.
well, that's fine, that's fine. That is
And
fine.
then
I
submit
mean,
it
you
to the
have,
commissioners for their review, and if they're comfortable with it, then.
I-
But again, as Mr. Fairchild said, this isn't just something that's gonna happen overnight.
I understand. Well, and I'm
We'll
here,
try to
we
have
are
this week,
here, excuse me, we are here, time is of the essence, because they're threatening February 7th. I understand, but I also understand how the wheels of, like I said, I'm on boards, I understand. So things don't necessarily happen overnight. So if you need, and by all means, please, contact, Frank Fallon is the lead one, Connor is his assistant. So Frank, if possible, be the one you can talk to.
I will call them today.
And
I
I will
gotta
contact
drive home,
them.
and I may as well be constructive and use it for purpose.
But, and obviously, from our standpoint, time is of the essence. But again, I want to emphasize, whenever you do it, is better than nothing. And I want to thank you for your time and your willingness to listen to our concerns and all. You know, you have the ultimate authority. I mean, it doesn't matter what Lee and I would like. We know what we want. It's like negotiating with Philip. We know what we want. But if you would be willing to support us in whatever way you feel like you can, it would be greatly appreciated. Because, you know, like I said, we have a conference call, which I can't be a part of because of a conflict tonight, but to go over this, we've had multiple ones of it. But the idea was the more counties.
Would you like this to be sent, if we decide to do the letter, would you like it to be sent to all these addresses or emailed?
What we would like to have happen is you're sending a letter, send it certified mail to all parties, as well as an email if you're willing, and phone calls. I mean, any way, like I said, let me go through that list real quick of the contacts, just so you are aware, the best I can.
Remember with the water, what happened at the 11th hour? Senator Moran steps in?
It'd be nice to find a senator.
Well, and that's
You mentioned the governor, I think you said it was Wyoming?
Wyoming.
You know, I don't know if you've gone up the proverbial chain, higher up than the county.
I'll be honest with you, here's what we've been frustrated with as a negotiating committee, but before I go there, my mind train will leave and I won't be on it. Let's go back to something said about water. Fred Grunder brought up. We are in obviously with the water issue we've got going on, but with all the irrigation groundwater we have, and it's not that deep, we are in a groundwater sensitive area. That is another concern that is always it's always a concern. But this is well, it doesn't matter with a 12-inch or 24-inch, but 24-inch springs a leak. They're going to gush out a whole lot more than a 12-inch will. But that is also a concern, is make sure that they can be held responsible for contaminating our groundwater if that would happen. That is a side note. Now, now the train left. Say, well,
The train's left the building.
Oh, contact. Okay, thank you. Who we have been in touch with as a negotiating team has been David Bankston, Jason Brinkley, and Chad Pollock. All three are outside. Well, the two, David and Jason, are outside legal counsel for them. David's Kansas, Jason's Colorado, and I think Wyoming. Chad is just right away, but they are outside, pardon my language, hired guns to do this, okay? On the first page is Scott Bilger. He is an in-house attorney that we have had some contact with, but he's really not been directly involved with not like we'd like to have. We feel like that, from our perspective, Chad, Jason, and David have been kind of the bottleneck, and we are concerned that our concerns are not being passed through them, that they have been, in fact, we just got an email, one of our team had been in touch with Chad, raising the issue. Concern is, we don't feel like we're talking to policy level people that can make a decision. We'd like to have that opportunity. And Chad responded back, and I did not bring a copy of that email, but he responded back in no uncertain terms that you are talking to decision makers. Well, we don't think so. And I would like to think, and so all these we don't have, all guys maybe emails on some, but Dre Garland is CEO. Timothy Roberts is, we are of the understanding he is probably the head of this project. And then Rich Johnson is, like I said, it explains it there. I assume someone from the company had met with you guys about this project.
Well, yep.
There's a group that came through a year ago, said we're here to help, we're putting in pipelines, everything's all land and honey.
If anything's at all wrong, contact us.
Well, this is a good time, things wrong. But Letters, emails, and phone calls. All the help we can get from you, but we'll take whatever you're willing to do. Obviously, we don't
It's
have.
a discussion, yeah.
Well, I know that, but you're advising them, just like our council's advising us. I understand that. You know, we don't have phone numbers for these people, but we do have phone numbers for corporate headquarters. If someone would be willing to make the phone call, along with a letter, our thought would be, if you just say, hey, we are, again, I'm not trying to say what to say, but just throwing this out as a possibility. Only safe?
It's done it for dozens of years.
Clamson.
Okay. We are concerned, we have some concerns about your project, and we are considering, and I'm saying, however you want to word it, considering the possibility of regulations, and we may have to put a moratorium to give us time to consider this. We think it'd be in your best interest for the company to call us back, and then take it from there, if you're willing. But at the very least, certified mail to all parties, everyone, or emails, or phone calls, or all the above. But again, whatever you guys are willing to do.
Okay, so and I'm sure there'll be some discussion, but just for me, you mentioned certified mail twice now. What's
To make sure it gets where we want it to go. That the people, the eyes we want to see it, see it.
So you've had problems in the past, they're saying?
Well, we haven't been able to
we
get,
have
as I said, we haven't been able to get past these three gentlemen here, so we feel like, number one, we don't think, speculation, but we don't think Phillips as a company is going to like having a PR issue out here with a number of landowners. But these outside counsel, they really don't care. And I'll be blunt, in my opinion, they would love to do condemnation process because that's just more money in their pocket doing legal stuff and everything else. They would like nothing better than that. I don't think the company would like the PR disaster that potentially could be for them. I would like to think that policy level decision makers, whoever they be, whatever level this is, I would like to think that, and it's not like it's going to cost them money. They've already agreed to it in Wyoming. Why are they dragging their feet on Colorado and Kansas?
Because they can.
Because they can. Exactly. Exactly. So,
They've done it before, 3 times.
so that
Got
is,
by with it.
we are trying to get past what we feel is a bottleneck to get to the people that really can have the power to say, you know what, negotiate with them and agree to, this isn't, I would think in their eyes, the CEO and some of the other higher ups, I would like to think that in their eyes, this isn't a battle that's worth fighting for them. They've done it for Wyoming. The president has been set, and on other projects, their partner project, they've agreed to it. Why is it a problem for private business in Colorado? And we're here asking for you help us carry a little bigger stick to visit with them about. The more counties we can get on board to support us in whatever way, I want to emphasize, in whatever way you're willing to do that, if you're willing to do that, would be beneficial for us.
I'm sympathetic, would like to write a letter supporting you. I just don't want to put anything in the letter that I can't back up.
That's fine. And Todd asked me yesterday, what happens if we act, I think you were maybe one of the other commissioners would ask, what if we actually have to follow through on this? Would we help you do it? Well, you got an attorney to do that, but yeah, I'm sure our council would be more than willing to be in touch and help in that. If we don't think it's coming up, we hope it does. That is not what we want.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
But basically, if it comes down to that, only one county's got to put a moratorium on the soda.
We think so.
So.
But
if
the
you
more
got
counties that
4
are
or
willing
5
to possibly
counties,
do it,
yeah,
the better.
yeah. The more counties we have say they might do it,
I think
then once it comes down to it.
we think that perhaps that in Wyoming, along with some political pressure, but the fact that all but 2 landowners are part of the group, they have a pretty good bump in the road for them. Colorado and Kansas, yeah, we've got over 25% of the miles signed up, but they've already, for us, but they've already got, I don't know how many, but they've already got a number of miles, a number of landowners have already agreed to terms. So they're going to come back and say, well, they've done it, why don't you? Well, you've done it, why won't you? We can go he said, she said type of deal. It just, I think, as Leah said, it's just like, because we can do this, we're going to do it.
Well, I can't speak for Council Phillips If he said that once they start condemnation, then stop on Canada Road.
I understand. And I would like to think they don't wanna do that.
So I mean, Todd saying,
That's what I would like.
if one county road blocks them, then, you know, like, then they don't stop it. They'll
Well,
hold it.
and I understand that, and
Take
that's
them out of
why,
council for that,
that's why we're trying to talk to as many counties as we can, and trying to get as many counties on board as we can. But I got sidetracked. We, I think, and when they started with us, they looked at us, our group, as, well, that's cute, yeah, we'll work with them, we'll negotiate with them, but that's just, you know, they're insignificant. Well, now all of a sudden, we've kind of become a major hurdle for them, and so now they're coming out with strong tactics to try and divide and conquer, trying to get people that signed up with them, trying to feed them stuff that we're going to be condemnation, your group's falling apart, and this and that. Do whatever they can, and I'm not saying the company is doing that, but it is representatives as land agents are doing it, that probably the company maybe didn't fully what it's done. I don't know. That's part of the reason for the letter. But I hope the company is happy with those kind of tactics, but I don't know. But we've turned into what was kind of a cute little obstacle. Now we're hurting them, and so they're going to say, well, we'll do whatever it takes to beat you down. That's our take on our operation. So, any other questions?
Is Oklahoma saying anything?
Who?
Oklahoma?
We haven't been in touch with them. We don't know. It's just been, they have not been a part of this
That we know of.
that we know of. I think it's a good point.
This has
that we
just
know.
happened.
Well, I know that in Barber County, you know, they had the transmission lines and they had the windmills and all that. And now they have a mess. Because the company's completed, they're gone. And
know
I
that
talked
was
to the
happening.
commissioners down there.
Same
They said
here.
we got
This is
bridges,
happening.
roads, and we're gonna have to, because they didn't follow.
So again, I want to emphasize, thank you for your time. Thank you for willing to listen. We hope you will be supportive of us, but
We'll do what we can do.
yeah.
You said you're gonna meet with other counties later?
We are trying to get something set up with Pratt County and Kingman County. I've already met with Edwards County. They have met with Logan County's on board, and Scott County guest last evening agreed to be on board in whatever capacity. Edwards County has agreed to support us. Again, I'm not sure in what capacity to say exactly what they're going to do, but we've been told that they would support us with phone call and or letters. At the time when I met with him, I didn't have all this contact information. I just got that yesterday, so I've already been in touch with Micah. When I get home, I'm going to email this to him. He's the chairman of that board and the commission. So we are, and like I said, in the group out west, they are trying to meet with additional counties as well. So we are trying to expand this, get as many on board as we can. So, you know, like I said,
We'll do what we can do.
it's no different than what we're trying to do as landowners. The more we can get, the better. So the more counties we get, the better.
We'll try to get Mike to put together a letter by next week.
That's
I
fine.
think Stafford County's been a target.
We're right in
Golly, it's
there.
just
That corner is right in the sight line
Yeah.
for all the pipelines.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis.
And if you have any further questions, I'm available. But again, don't hesitate. I will give them a heads up to expect a call from me. Like I said, Frank would be the best one, but Connor's fine. And, I mean, I'm not putting Connor down, but Frank's been the lead. He's the lead on this, so.
I'll do it this morning.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I hope the rest of yours will make it easier to deal with than this one. I should have this one. So,
Any questions?
No? No, thank you.
thank you. Leave that in your bag.
Oh, yeah.
Carl's having some interviews
I've
with,
been known to do that before.
He's over there. I sent the quotes.
he asked me last week if I'd be
Thank you.
interested in sitting
Nice to
in
meet
on
you.
a deal. And I'll probably sit in on some of them. I'm not really gonna have any questions to ask them.
I don't think
Pardon?
Yeah.
No, I forgot.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think we should ask any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to sit in.
That's fine. Anything else?
No, sir.
Want to discuss that anymore?
I mean, I feel like that we ought to send some sort of a letter to try
I
to
just think
show support for our people. I mean, whether it does any good or not.
we're still little fish in a big pond.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right.
But I think we just
But we
stay
got
out
enough
of,
fish in the pond.
I just feel like if we just sit back and don't do any kind of support, then it just looks bad on our
But,
behalf.
I'm not gonna support saying something like that I have no idea whether they're right or not. I have never heard of that.
Well, it's a civil negotiation, civil litigation, and I just, you know.
Yeah, let's not put anything in there that we can't back up.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? We'll adjourn.